Hello, welcome back to my YouTube channel. I am Flawless Queen, and today I am going to be reacting to Jawbreaker Juice. He is an African YouTuber. He makes content sort of like Swoozy Tube. Is it Swoozy Tube? No, I think it's just Swoozy. I'm thinking of Floozy Tube. Okay. So he makes videos like Swoozy where he tells stories and he draws, you know, his characters and draw the, you know, event. And excuse me. I came across his videos, I think maybe sometime this year, a few months ago, or maybe it was last year, and I thought he was so funny. He's from Gambia, which is in West Africa, and my father, he's from West Africa. My father is Nigerian, so I need to support my fellow African creators, you know. So let's get into this video. I am reacting to the worst college professor ever. I definitely can probably relate to this video because I've definitely dealt with some terrible professors during my college years. So let's see what he has to say.
So I'm in college right now and I study computer engineering. You're probably wondering what it's like for your major to be computer engineering. It goes a little bit like this. Bro, this major sucks! And my program...
Honestly too, like, he studies computer engineering. Like, I applaud. That couldn't be me. Okay.
Teacher from freshman year. I had this trash professor that just ruined my perspective on programming. I won't say his name here, even though he deserves it. His name is Michael Jones. That's M-I-C-H-A. No, I'm just playing. That wasn't his name, y'all. Chill out. But for the sake of this video, we're gonna call him Mr. Jones, okay? So in Mr. Jones' class, we're supposed to learn about basic computing and coding. So he starts talking about basic stuff teachers talk about in the first day. You know, syllabus, the rules, what to expect. And I slowly started to realize his voice was kind of annoying. When he was explaining what the class was about, he was like, so you guys are gonna learn how to code on these computers.
Oh no.
He sounded like a country Squidward.
Oh no. Sound like that. Just not country Squidward, man. Yo, that's crazy.
Just don't talk to This class was at 8 a.m. in the morning, so I'm already annoyed because I gotta wake up so early for class. If you about to go to college...
Also too, I've dealt with like a few professors that had boring tone voices. And then he has to take him like during 8 a.m. and like at 8 a.m. Like, no, who's trying to hear a Squidward, a country Squidward voice at 8 a.m. I don't know how he did it. Let
me tell you right now, do not get those 8 a.m. classes. It's not like high school, bro. Especially if you're out of state. If you don't got your mom waking you up, you're not gonna wake up, bro. Trust me.
I remember I had like an early class like at 8 or 9 a.m. or so. And it was during like the winter, and it was like this class I was struggling with, and I just wanted to like do it, try to get it done, and you know, but it was a struggle waking up, but I had to do it. I had to do the work.
He would be explaining about the class, but for some reason, for like a week straight, he just repeated himself over and over. We went 5 classes and still didn't learn anything, but his voice was the least of my problems. Turns out, Mr. Jones was just a complete jerk. So we had to partner up and present a PowerPoint, right? And every group that went up and presented, instead of letting them get through it, he will stop them and just start roasting us. Look at him right there. What's wrong with him? Is he sick or something? Like, bro, it's 8 in the morning. You want us to put on a suit and tie for a 5-minute presentation? What do you think this is, the Met Gala? He was just...
I remember I had to like dress up and stuff for a presentation, but it wasn't for college. It was for high school. Like in high school teachers, they were all about, oh, you need to dress up for your presentation, you need to do this and do that and such and such. And I remember I had to like dress like in a dress and high heels and stuff to go to school. And I should have packed an extra pair of like clothes and stuff like that, because who's trying to stay in like a dress and high heels to go, and you have to travel to like each class? Like, no, that was That was too much.
He acted like he was just better than all of us. He treated the classroom like it was an episode of Wild 'N Out. How depressing is your life that you gotta embarrass your own students for your own pleasure? Who are you trying to impress? The college girls that's the third year age? Freaky boy, freaky boy. Let me tell you right now, bro, it's not happening. I mean, look at you. Just the way he looked made me so mad. It just made me hate him more. He was built like a deep breath. Samsung battery. And I didn't mention the fact that he would drink Pepsi.
A deep breath. He said he was built like a deep breath. I'm done.
Every day at 8 a.m. in the morning. Every time he walked in, he would be carrying a fresh Pepsi like they sponsored him. No wonder he was built the way he was. He was teaching us like it was still the 90s and the internet just became a thing. But I wasn't mad at it. I was like, okay, this class is going to be pretty easy. I can get used to this. Then out of nowhere, one day in the middle of class, he went up to the board and just started writing a bunch of zeros and ones. So now I'm like, okay, this gotta be a prank, right? Where's the cameras? And then he started adding them together and legit said to my face, 1 + 1 = 0. What? My whole life they told me 1 + 1 = 2.
Bye. Bye. So long. No. What are you talking about? 1 + 1 = 0? What?
Then we start learning binary code. All of a sudden we gotta throw that out the window. And then we started doing
Math is weird because your teacher, they teach you a certain formula to use, and then you get hit with a problem. And so you try to use that formula that your teacher told you to use, and then your answer comes out wrong. And then you're like, what did I do wrong? I used the formula. And then you go and you show your teacher and they're like, oh, for this problem, you don't use that. You use this, or you do something different for this problem. I'm like, are you serious? Like, if you, I don't know an easier way of explaining this, but if you understand what I'm saying, you understand what I'm saying. But math be tricking you. It really do.
Doing actual coding. And this is where Mr. Jones just made me despise him. None of us have ever done coding before. We were here to learn how to do it. Those were beginners at this. Tell me why every time someone would ask for help, he'd be like, it's your program, just tell it what to do. Just the laziest cop-out I've ever heard. He never actually showed us how to code. He would just dump the work on us and tell us to look at the resources online for help. Well,
I remember I had like it was like a database class or something for high school, and like, it was so... Bro, like, I do not miss that class. Like, I didn't understand anything. Also, too, I was kind of goofing off a little bit because my friends was in that class. But, but it was like I don't understand what's happening. Plus, too, my teacher will always be telling random stories. I don't know. Like, that class, I don't miss it at all.
I tried that and it didn't help either. He set it up so terribly. Wallahi, some of the content was in Latin. I have screenshots. Yeah, I know I always bring you could blame me if I wasn't trying or if I wasn't trying to get help. I will always go up to this bum and ask questions, but no matter what, his information was so vague and useless. It's like he didn't want us to pass. I started hating this guy so much. I started having ideations of just walking up to him and punching him in the mouth in front of the whole class and just run off. What is he gonna do? Chase me? He's so coked up on Pepsi, he might pass out. There was one assignment where we had to make a specific program, right? And the whole class was just completely lost. Nobody knew what was going on. So he put up his code on the big screen to explain it, but instead of letting us see it, he just scrolled through the whole thing super fast. Every time he pulled it up, he would just do the same thing, just blast through it. Like, what was the point of this? It got to the point where when he pulled it up, we had to pull out our phones and record it before he closed the window again. Why should we have to take these extreme measures to learn, bro? This is so strange. Next thing you know, it was the end of the semester, and I literally learned nothing. I was still confused, and we had to do a final project where we pretty much had to combine everything that we learned. At this point, I was like, okay, I don't care. I'm gonna hurry.
I can't stand it when, like you have a very bad professor, and then they give you the final, and then they expect you to know everything. Like, they expect you to know some of the stuff that they taught and some of the stuff that they didn't teach. I'm just like, Father, help me. How do you expect me to understand this? Like, there was sometimes, like, barely even go over the stuff. Like, they'll probably, like, go over it once and then expect you to get it. Like,
harass this guy until I get what I need from him. And I guess this was the most work he's ever had to do, because when I went up to him another time, he just straight up showed me his code. He didn't even bother explaining it. Just lazy. And the code had things that we'd never even seen before. There were some things in there that he hasn't even taught us. So he expected me to complete this assignment with things that we didn't even learn. What I look like? Megamind? Dexter's laboratory? According to my calculations, no, bro. He ended up having to curve everybody's final grade because no one knew what they were doing. I'm still trying to figure out how this guy even got hired. But I was like, whatever. I'm done with this class. I don't gotta see this bum again. Next semester come around, and in my next coding class, he's my professor again.
I love that meme. I didn't know that meme even existed until I seen this video. Like, Steve Harvey, kill! It's like, I'm gonna use that meme one day. That's funny.
I got so mad and nervous at the same time knowing this guy was my teacher again, because now I knew what he was all about. He started his lazy teaching again where he would just go through one PowerPoint and leave it up to us to figure out the rest. This time, I knew I couldn't rely on him. I had to use YouTube to teach myself how to code. Some guy on my screen did a much better job explaining C++ than Mr. Jones ever could. But Mr. Jones wasn't done being a bum. He hasn't reached his final form yet. So he would do this thing where every time you had to resubmit an assignment because you did something wrong, he would take off 10 whole points. So you'll forget something simple like forgot to put your name on the top. Boom, that's 10 points off. We will end up with 70s and 80s on assignments that we eventually did perfect.
Isn't that like the first thing you're supposed to do when you have an assignment and put your name at the top? Hey, I mean, you kind of deserve it. You kind of deserve that -10. If you forgot to put your name on your paper, like what? You know what? But I get what he's talking about. I get what you're saying. Like, it's just like why knock off -10 for something so little? Like, that makes no sense at all.
It don't make no sense. Like, you can't be a trash teacher and then a strict grader at the same time. I started feeling like I was trapped. I had no way of passing this guy's class because bro don't want me to pass. And there was nothing I could do. He was able to just get away with this. Once I was talking to my dad and he was like, how's school going? And I'm like, my programming teacher sucks. And my dad was like, what's his number? I want to talk to him. And I was like, okay. I was panicking at first because let's be real, nobody wants their parents talking to their teachers. But I was like, you know what? Maybe this is a good thing. My dad's gonna see how much of a bum this guy is and understand why I can't stand him. A few minutes later, I get a call back. Hello? Hey, I talked to your professor. He's a nice guy, actually. Huh? Let him help you. He's there to help. He's a good guy. I can tell.
It's always the mean teachers that know how to finesse your parents, alright? Like, I remember, like, I had this one teacher, like, I honestly, I had to visit her class one time, and she was awful. She was so mean, like, just yelling for no reason, just yelling. I remember I got her as my teacher when I was in 3rd grade, and I was so mad, okay? And then I remember that day she came up to my mom, like, she saw me and stuff and was saying hi, like, being all nice and stuff like that, talking to my mom, they vibing and stuff. And then also she had got married over the summer and stuff like that. So I was like, okay, she might be cool. She might be cool this year. She got married. She's cool with my moms. We cool. This is going to probably be a good year. I spoke too soon because tell me why right when I got into class, she goes, everybody sit down. And we're like, and so we were going to sit down, right? And she's like, everyone needs to push their seats to the table. Your bellies need to be touching the desk. And then some kids was like struggling, like, you know, because like also when you're at that age, you still got your baby fat, you know, and you know, your belly, there's a situation that you have, you know. Okay. So when it comes to like the belly and the desk, there was a situation there. There was this one kid that was complaining. He was like saying like, I can't push any further. My belly's too big. My stomach hurt. And she just was like, she did not care. The reason why she did have us move up our desk to like closer to the desk is because she tripped over a student's bag one time. So that's why she was strict about that. And then she was just yelling like, be quiet. I remember she got me in trouble because I didn't know an answer to her stupid question. I remember she called me and she asked me the question and I wasn't saying anything. She literally had me stand up in front of the whole class and was like, answer the question. And I was like, I don't know. And she was like, go change your card. You know, like, no, I don't know if you guys have had those before, but when you're like in elementary school or so, you have like these little cards and stuff and they'll change color and to say like how you did that day or something. And she made me go change my card for that. Like, and I was over here crying and stuff. She was awful. The trauma is like, I don't even want to think about it. I'm done.
Everything I do, Mr. Jones is one step ahead. Since Mr. Jones was so useless, me and some other classmates would help each other with the assignments, and one day he just came up to us, and guess what he said? Looks like you guys are cheating over here. I'ma have to report this. You gotta be kidding. And I thought he was kidding, so I didn't even think about it much. Then a few days later, he came up to me and he was like, so I went to the higher ups and told them about what y'all did, but they say that it was okay, so you're fine. So you telling me you put my whole college career at risk for no reason? This man was African slap distance. You don't understand. I've never snapped at somebody in public, but this was the closest I've ever been. I wanted to smack him so bad we exchanged skin tones. He was actually okay with getting me kicked out of college when it was his fault that we even had to help each other in the first place. And he had that same smug look on his face. Like, bro, I'm trying to pass this class. I ain't trying to get a C. Bother me one more time, I'm gonna drown you in your Pepsi. I'm tired of all these ones and nos. I'm gonna pull out the 9. I know your big self was first at the table asking, mommy, is it dinner time? I ain't done. I'm flicking you back and forth like a yo-yo. You got nowhere to go. I don't need your head on a platter. I need it to go. Hope you got insurance. You gonna need flow. I'm gonna feed you to my pet monkey. His name Pogo. Anyways,
okay, that was clean. That was clean.
Thanks to Mr. Jones, I still hold a grudge against this guy to this day, cause he had me thinking I was dumb and I wasn't trying. But I realized that he was just a trash professor and really just a trash person in general.
Terrible. Oh my gosh. Okay, so that was Jawbreaker Juice. This is the end of the video. He's so funny. I love his videos. Please go watch him. If you like this video, please like and subscribe. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye.